Hello, hola,
Hola, hola.
hola, salamat pagi, Sukhavati.
Oh, so nice to connect.
It's great to connect with you again. Great to be back in your energy field.
Oh, same here. Wow. How have you been? I saw you have been traveling.
Yeah, just a little bit, just a little bit of traveling, but we've been enjoying the journey. Yeah, we've
Nice.
been enjoying the. Has a lot transpired with you since we last spoke?
Ooh, I feel like so many death and rebirth already. Yeah.
So many what?
Death and rebirth.
Oh, death and rebirth.
Yeah.
Oh, snap. So what has been dying?
Wow. So interesting. I feel for me, and also taking this topic of St. Valentine's and all this vibe, I feel for me has been a way of
Okay.
loving and relating
Okay.
in a romantic and sexual way. Yeah, I feel like something died.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I feel now more centered in what I want and
Mhm.
more self-empowered, I feel. Mhm.
Okay. So this has been a time of much self-empowerment.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Okay. So when you say rebirth, what do you feel has been reborn within you?
Mm, let's see. Maybe because I when I speak in light language, I can communicate better with my own soul. It's okay if I speak light language now. Okay. Ahiahara te shokokora te yarapahara ta sa eabu aera ina maheho fufora te shokokora te shiki ta ara tara tara kikoretara sorata para hasho fufora tara kotutura katapara tara sa ara bara batia kratara baro bara tara hara tara ta serata shur. Yeah, what I was feeling, it's like the process of the snake
Mm.
shedding this skin, and uh, it's like when we identify with part of our personality and our identity, but you feel that it doesn't fit you anymore. It's like, wow, actually, this was never me.
Mm.
I never wanted this actually. I
Mm.
just adjust myself to the environment, and because the environment is like this, I try to adjust myself, but actually this is not me. um, so yeah, it's also painful to see part of yourself dying, and also part of yourself that was not in
Mm.
coherence and it was not honest with the soul.
Mm.
So a bit painful also to say bye, to these previous connections and previous ways of loving and connecting,
Mm.
and making a space for something more honest and aligned with my soul. Yeah.
Wow, wow. Thank you for sharing. So like shedding the old skin, letting go of the old layers to make room for the new. It's interesting you talk about the snake. And snakes I think are very very aware of their environment. They're very in tune with their environment. And even during the Chinese New Year while I was in California, I went to this place. It was a little shop in the cut, and I got this ring. It was a serpent. Can you see that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I
Beautiful.
got a snake ring, and it just reminded me of that. It reminded me of, like, the Kundalini energy, Kundalini rising, but also how to just be in tune with your environment, how to strike at opportunities, and how to shed the old skin, how to let go and, allow that growth. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I felt also these days a lot of Kundalini movement in my body. And for me, when it moves so much, it's for releasing also, like to
Mhm.
make a space for the new vibration, the new energy.
Mhm.
Yeah.
When you process, because I like how you intuitively you knew just now, Sukhavati, to go into your light language to be able to process and to be able to allow that transmission to come through. How does that help you process? Like, when?
I'm also learning to process, I'm very emotional being, and in a day, I go phew, 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 phew. So many. Now, for example, I have support. I go to a therapist, and it's Gestalt therapist. So this is quite different to what I'm used to, because I'm a channeler, healer. So I'm used to people like me who channel something to support me or do some healing. But Gestalt therapy actually is very grounding. It's like, okay, I don't believe in this that you do. Tell me, how was your childhood? I want to go there. Like, it's very grounding. It's very 3D. And this actually supported me a lot to really see what parts of myself I don't allow to express, like anger. My therapist always say, Sukhavati, punch the cushion. And I just hack the cushion. And he's like, oh my God, I'm losing it. So, we try, it's a process. But yeah, I like that he's very grounding. And his technique also very grounding and very normal. But yeah, like everyone, I like to sometimes shouting with a cushion or under the water, and yeah, just doing some dancing and like language, or just talking with friends, or actually hugging, cuddling. Yeah, it's very relaxing for my nervous system.
Yeah. So one of your techniques in the sessions is punching the cushion. You punch the cushion, or you weren't
He,
able to?
no, he asked me, but still I'm not able.
And why was he asking you to punch it? Was it something to do with anger?
Yeah, like yeah. So I guess, like, I'm an Amma's devotee, so big part of my identity is to be this loving feminine, right? That is gonna embrace everything, even the people who are like driving me nuts. Like, sometimes I take clients that I'm like, why I took this client? I knew it was going to drive me nuts, and I don't need this client, but because I have the example of my guru, that she always offers refuge to everyone. It doesn't matter if they are crazy. It doesn't matter if they, she will always hug them. So sometimes I take a challenge, and I just take some crazy people that, then it's a lot for my nervous system, because some people who come for me for sessions for energy clearing, they are about to have schizophrenia. They really believe they have like big entities and big things. So it's like a job that I have to deal with a lot of people with, some sort of mental disorder. So yeah, actually, many times in my life, I'm about to have anger, but then I just hack them. So with my therapist, I'm working on this.
Yes. And when you're able to hug and when you're able to even cuddle, what does it do for the anger? Does the anger just dissolve or dissipate, or does it go somewhere else? Where does the anger go?
Yeah, this is I think the main problem, no? Maybe I feel it's transmuted, but it's not. It's somewhere in my body, in my cells. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So you don't feel that the anger is actually transmuted. You feel that it goes somewhere else?
Yeah, because I'm human. I'm not my guru. Yeah.
Yeah. And since being around your guru, being around Amma, how do you feel that, has she ever revealed how she has dealt with certain things like anger, like those emotions? Has she ever told you anything like that?
No. Well, what I see, what I have experienced is like she gets pissed off, she gets angry. Suddenly she goes on a tour or travel, and then she arrives to the ashram, and the main hall smells weird. Like it was not dry. It was mop and then not dry. So it's like, this, and she starts complaining, like, what the heck? Like, why is this so smelly? Why is it so stinky? And she started blah, blah, blah. And she's Kali, so we are like, oh my God. But then after 3 seconds, she's like, and she's like, moved to the next thing, So this also is such a good example. It's like she's able to express anger, but she's not holding to it like It's another emotion.
Mm-hmm. So what would you say is the difference, because it's interesting you said she's Kali. I don't know a whole lot about goddess Kali, but I've seen the figure where she's like chopping off heads or stomping on heads or standing on head. Like she's very, in that element. So how do you see the connection with Kali?
Yeah. Yeah, so actually, Amma, the main energy that she embodies is Kali. And in the ashram, we only have one temple, is the Kali temple. Actually, Kali is the most compassionate mother because she walks you through the darkness. She's seeing your darkness, she's accepting your darkness, and she's walking you through it with shedding some light. And yeah, I mean, with Amma, since I remember the first time I arrived to the ashram, I had a dream. And in this dream, it was like lucid dreaming, and I was meditating, and I had like a dress, and lipstick and heels, and I was meditating like this. And she said, "Stand up," and I stand up, and she rips, the dress off me, and she's like, and the heels, and like she put some white clothes on me, and she's like, like this part of you that identify with this, femme fatale or something needs to die now. So she's always with us, the devotees, like supporting us to, stop identifying with parts of our identity, and then we can take them back, right? Because then, after a few years, I start again using lipstick. But of course, it was different. Now I was not so identified with it, So this is an example of the Kali process. Kali is always trying to help you to see that you are essence, that you are beyond form, beyond shape, beyond everything.
Wow.
But yes, it's intense.
Guiding you through your darkness. So when you said you had a dream, this was a dream that she did this when she ripped it off the clothing?
Yes.
So that was kind of like another example of like a death and rebirth, you think?
Yes. Yes.
Wow. Okay. So was it that stripping away that old identity, was it embracing a new identity, or was it letting go of all identity? What did it feel like?
In that moment, I started, dressing in white because she asked us to dress in white because that helped us, our mind, to be clear and clean. And if you see in hospitals, they use white clothes, but also in how to say, like where crazy people go. So in all kinds of hospitals. So it felt like a process of cleaning my mind, and I was a few years like this. But then at some point, I was like just turning more normal. And even though I'm a healer and all of that, and there are many healers and shamans, they wear like a lot of malas, and you can see from far that they're healers, they're shamans, right? My guru always said, just make yourself, how to say, like, you don't need all of that. You don't need to show off. You don't need people to know who you are, just be normal, just be, yourself. And yeah, people just feel the energy. You don't need to show off with all these things. Yeah.
And when you talked about the way that you noticed Amma would deal with anger, or when she had times where she would be riled up, or when she might complain or might shout or might say like, what is going on here? What is going on there? Be able to let it go. What did Amma teach you by observing her about how to channel that emotion?
It's like fully express yourself, It's okay to fully express yourself. Yeah. It's like also, she's very funny, I remember another time there was a guy, so in the ashram, like she's a bit up on the stage and she's giving meditation with us, and then some satsang, some people ask questions, and then we chant with her. So I think this was a question time, and someone was asking, and at the front there was a new guy, who just came to the ashram, and he, instead of being sitting in meditation, he was like laying down like this, and Amma said, like, do you need a cushion? Do you need something? Do you feel comfortable enough? What do you need? So she's also like really funny and like and he's like what? And he's like she's always trying to say things in a funny way. Then he realized, she says, look, if you want to sit like this, lay down, don't sit at the front. You know, you can go at the bottom and do whatever you want. But if you're sitting at the front, I expect you, you know, to be straight in meditation and just be very shanti and very peaceful and respect, you know, this is an ashram. So I love how she can be Kali, you know, in a very loving way.
Okay. So it was coming from a place of respect, like respect this place, respect this space, you know, respect it through honoring that, you know, sitting up straight, keeping the spine erect, you know, with that respect. Yeah.
Oh.
Wow. So did that teach you anything, or were you able to find ways of implementing that within yourself whenever you're in a dwelling or in another domain, or even when you're with a client, to have that sort of reverence and respect within yourself? Did that rub off on you, you think?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Ooh, I think now I'm going through a process, this process of birth and rebirth. So I'm allowing myself to be more Kali even with my clients. So now I'm just going straight to the point. Like yesterday, I found myself shouting at client. I was like, fuck, I've never done this in my life. But this lady, you know, like there was no other way out, you know. The only way was like, so this woman found in her bathroom faces coming out of the walls, you know, and she believed she had a big entity in her root chakra, and then in her bathroom there were all these faces coming out. So I'm doing the healing session to her. She's supposed to be laid down, and suddenly she takes the phone, she takes me to the bathroom, and she starts describing all the faces, you know. The session is 1 hour. I cannot waste 1 hour just seeing these random faces on the wall, you know. And I had to say, finish! Stop this! Come back to your room! Like, what the heck? You know, I don't have time to see this. Like, Jesus Christ! So, yeah, and it feels good also. It feels good to stop someone. And like before, maybe I could try to compensate this kind of energy. Like, oh, I'm so sorry if this makes you... But no, now I'm seeing this person is not respecting me, because already she asked me like 3 times to show me the pictures. I said no, but she insisted and she went to the bathroom, you know, so she's not respecting this. Like, so now it's about honoring and respecting me first. So if I don't feel respected, I'm sorry, but this is what is here, you know. Yeah, it's
Wow.
just...
How did she respond in the moment, Sukhavati, when you said that, you know, how did she respond?
She's like, I think no one puts boundaries on her. That's the main problem. Like, we need to put boundaries and support each other and saying, look, it's okay to put boundaries, you know, it's okay. And I already told her the session is 1 hour. We went over the hour, but it's okay. But then, you know, I had to do so much clearing in myself. It was not worthy. So then I understood, Sukhavati, maybe you are not ready to take these people who are near schizophrenia. You know, you are not ready. So don't do it anymore. It's not good for you.
Okay. Because when you talk about setting boundaries and even clearing that energy, I always seen you as someone who's very cognizant and very aware of your own energy. You know, you're very aware of your space, you're very aware of the place, and you're very aware of others in coming in contact, you know, with that bubble, and being able to have those boundaries. How do you establish that? And, you know, what is your method of being able to clear and stay clear when you're coming in contact with so many energies, you know?
I think it also, it takes a strong personality. So that's funny because, you know, Kali works with killing my identity all the time, but at the same time, I need a strong personality so I can separate from all these clients and people I work with. So it's this game of creating big personality and then killing this personality.
Okay. So it's like creation and destruction at the same time. Wow. 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 That, I mean, for the average person, that would seem like a lot to juggle, you know? But make it look effortless.
Yeah. Somehow, yeah. Yeah. It's good. Like I definitely feel like lately I'm preferring to work with groups. It's easier than one-on-one. It's like I go so deep, so intense, because even though they come with a problem, I just start channel and the spirits start showing me things of the childhood. Seeing the other day, I was seeing something from the great grandfather of the man, the guy. So it's like we go so deep and so back in time, and then we start talking with this great grandfather that I see in his field. So it's like intense. But then, I start cleaning or doing another thing. Like it's okay for me to plug in and out.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's deep.
So you can plug in and plug out without, you don't have to be touched so much.
Yeah,
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 by
yeah,
the energy. You can be okay plugging in and plugging out, like you're good.
yeah.
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 Yeah. Because when it comes to, being with clients, engaging clients, and serving, being in service the way that you do, there's always this thing of sometimes where we might have it in us that if we feel like we haven't helped someone in their situation, or if we feel like what we provided was not enough for that person, have you ever felt that? And how did you deal with that?
Mm, 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 mm. I think the only time this happened to me was yesterday with this crazy lady. This was the only one, because I could feel she was not satisfied, because she said the entity is inside me and the entity is moving my eyes, and the entity is saying you are not able to kill this entity. Okay, so I did whatever I could, but she went over my boundaries of time. She went over many things, and I'm satisfied. I did my job. I did the energy clearing. I did the channeling, but we can help as much the person opens to be helped. If the person is attached to the identity of being victim of an entity, because this is now it's part of her identity. She identified like someone who is a victim of an entity.
Mm-hmm.
So then doesn't matter if I kill the entity. You are so attached to this part of your identity. I cannot remove victimhood from you. I can make you help you to see that you identify yourself as a victim,
Right.
but this we cannot do. So it's also about, yeah, I expressed to her this that I saw, like she's identifying too much with this identity, and also these faces in the bathroom. I'm, I'm laughing because, people, I think they normally offer other kinds of examples, and these examples are really weird, but it's okay. Yeah, and then I said, like, there's not so much I can do. Yeah.
Okay. I love how honest you are and how transparent and forthcoming you are with us, Sukhavati, when you talk about how there's really no way that you can release someone from their own victimhood, that they have to be open to receive that and, to perceive that, and coming out of that, breaking through the barrier of their own belief, of their own boundaries within that they've constructed. Because it makes me think of, like, there's an age-old question: what happens when an unstoppable force meets an immovable object, right? And comes in contact. What happens when they collide? And being a Bhakta healer, being a channeler, being, someone who engages in all these energies, coming up against somebody who they're like, you can't help me. There's no help. You can't do anything for me. I would think that has to be, or give you a feeling of like, but you're saying it doesn't rub you the wrong way because you've come to that level of acceptance.
Yes, yes. Actually, I'm remembering now that it happened also 1 month ago with another lady. I think we talked actually about her here, that she didn't have any faith in the divine, right? So, yeah, I think it's just about acceptance, and like there's some transmission somehow, I'm sure. Like when we connect with someone who has a strong spiritual practice, who is connected, we get some energy. It doesn't matter what they say, what they do. It's about energy, about being in connection with their field. So yeah, she wasn't connecting with my field. I really wanted to help her. So there's something happened. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Do you ever feel like when you encounter someone who lacks faith, or seemingly they don't have the level of devotion, or they can't let go from the things that have weighed them down, do you ever see yourself in that person? Like maybe another version of Sukhavati that at one point was in that position?
Yeah. Yeah, it's so interesting because the other day I was talking with a friend and he said something like, Sukhavati, you remember to be godless and groundless. And it's true, when we don't have this connection to the divine, we feel groundless. We don't feel safe on earth because there's capitalism, there's wars, there's like competition. It's so hostile, this planet, you know, it's not friendly. But when you have this connection to source, when you have like a true guru, a true teacher, a true connector, you can rest. You feel safe. You're like, oh, thank you. But unfortunately, there are many pseudo gurus, pseudo spiritual teachers, and that's why people even like fear to connect with teachers. But for me, wow, a teacher changed my life, you know, when you are in connection with a true teacher. You can recognize a true teacher because they are not going to ask anything in return, you know, they are just giving. This is guru, right? This is not like a coach or like healer. Right. Yeah, it's like the...
Right. So what was a time, if you can recall, when you weren't as connected to source, when you weren't as plugged in? What was a time that you can recall that in your life, and what was your emotional state back then? You know, what was life like?
Hopeless. Hopeless, depressed, like I had no faith in humanity. I had even apocalyptic dreams. And every night apocalyptic dreams, I'm like, wow, I'm in a planet that is destroying itself, and like I'm going to die too, and there's not hope here. So I was so depressed, and yeah, and luckily, you know, they say the teacher appears when the student is ready. So I was definitely looking for a teacher. You know, I was like, is there something there that is listening to me? I'm desperate. I don't believe what I'm doing here. You know, I don't feel like this is my path, just to be here working and boyfriend, and like there must be something else, right?
Wow. So while you were crying out for a teacher or a guide, even if you weren't doing that physically, you were doing that almost energetically. Like you were asking for some sort of guidance, you know, looking around for it to be found. And would you say that what you were seeking was also seeking you at the same time?
Yes, that's beautiful. Yeah, you know, we have contracts. So when I first met Amma, I started having dreams where I was with Amma in previous lifetimes, in lifetimes in which Amma was not even a woman, was a man. So yeah, we have contracts. And actually, when I asked my guru to be my guru, you are signing a contract for all the lifetimes till you find nirvana, till you get enlightened, till you free yourself from your ego. So it's a many lifetimes contract. So that was beautiful. For sure, I had a contract with her that I will go to meet her in this lifetime because she's helping me from other lifetimes before. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, this is powerful, what you just said, Sukhavati. So when you hear things, I'm sure you've heard before, like it is written, you know, like maktub or maktab, like it is written, the writing on the wall. And there's also these philosophical age-old questions of, do we have free will, or are things predetermined? Like, is it predestination, or can we make a choice? You know, is it written, or do we have a voice? You know, so what do you have to say when it comes to that sort of dynamic?
Yes, this is super interesting because, you know, we have so many karmic agreements, like even short karmic agreements, like you are meant to talk with someone in the bus stop and open, you know, a window in their mind, just saying something, or just saying, oh, you know that there's this yoga place here. So these little encounters are also written. So it's not only about big things, also small encounters, just one day, 1 second. So this is super interesting. So we have many karmic agreements. We have free will, yes. For example, I mean, I have the agreement I was going to meet my guru in 2016, but the process from me getting to there, maybe it was opened. But the person who is gonna talk about her in front of me, that's agreed, you know. He was the person who had to talk to me about that, you know. And but then what I do in between, there's some sort of free will. Even if I'm in front of her, my free will can say, I don't want in this lifetime she to be, I don't want to go here. I could have this free will also. But the meeting, that was fated. Yeah.
Okay, so how does your free will affect your fate?
Wow, this is deep, you know. Yeah. Yeah, like I don't actually, I'm not sure how much free will we have. I'm not so sure, you know, how much. It feels to me like everything is kind of fated, even little things. And my mind can think I have so much free will, but actually I have so much, I feel, works to do. Like I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to support here, I'm going to receive this support. It feels like kind of everything is fated. Maybe my free will is how much I feel or how much I open to an experience, how much I trust into something.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, go ahead.
So I, because this is difficult question. Yeah. I don't know what timeline to choose. Yeah.
Because, for instance, you know, we did sort of use our free will to come together for this conversation. You know, like we both agreed, right? We agreed to do a live together, to have another talk together because we enjoy them so much. And, you know, they help us explore even more. They help us put pieces of the puzzle together. And, you know, when we say that we came to this conversation, we came to that agreement, were we using our free will or was it already written? Is this conversation karmic or is it a contract, you know? Like
Cling, cling, cling. So I feel what was fated is disconnection, right? This connection is fated. It was meant to happen. How deep we go into this connection, it's on us, I feel. So this conversation actually is making us, helping us to go deeper in our connections. But yeah, I don't think this conversation was fated, for example. Yeah.
so it wasn't fate.
What do you think?
It was free will. So okay, so what would you advise someone to go about determining or recognizing a contract? To recognize something like, okay, this is karmic. Okay, this is a contract. Okay, and this is, you know, something else. How would you recognize that?
Ooh, I can see clearly the contracts because it's someone that appear in your life and is moving your floor. You know, it's like, ooh, wow. It has a big download for me, this person. It's a big program. It's like, phew, and it's accelerating your evolution. Either if it causes uncomfort, discomfort, or if it's causing you like loving, joyful, blissful experiences. Either way, you know, it's helping you to go faster in your evolution. So again, the meeting was fated, but how deep you want to go there, it's up to you. Like, for example, I can see someone who is very Plutonian, who is transforming my identity, who is challenging me a lot. I'm like, wow, I'm sure this person came to show me something, but will I open fully to this person? Maybe no. I don't feel it, you know, I don't want to go there. I know if I go there, I can transform even faster, you know, because this person is going to challenge me so much. I'm going to evolve a lot. Do I want to evolve so much so fast? It's up to you, you know, that's your free will.
Okay. Okay. So it's whether we want to open or not, how much we want to open or not, and with your evolution, are we always on the path to evolution in everything that we do? Is that a path that we're never off of?
Exactly. I truly believe we are always evolving. It's like the universe is always expanding. The universe is always expanding. We are always expanding. There's not other way in this reality, in this galaxy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Beautiful. That's beautiful. You know, I love it's just I find it so enjoyable because like I said, with these conversations, I feel expanded. You know, I feel like I'm already expanding just listening to your different talks, listening to the light codes, listening to the transmissions. I saw something about Lilith and Leo. I saw about Lyrans and Andromedans, and it's like I never know even what you just said about Plutonian. I never even heard of that word, you know? So I'm already expanded, you know?
It's true. Wow. I'm so happy. You also, because also normally I'm so expanded, like, you help me to really go and to tight, to connect little things of pieces of information. So your way of, wow, seeing and talking and connecting is articulating. Wow, it's also very expansive. Yeah.
Wow. And isn't that what you also do, Sukhavati, when you're using different movements? You know, I see you doing things with your hands. You're also articulate with your fingers, with your expressions, with your body. You're very articulate, you're very, you know, literate. It's like its own language, you know? It's its own language. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy, like now on Instagram, you can find so many people speaking like language, so many people doing the movements. So now it's normalized and I feel good. We are not crazy people. We are many crazy people.
And I remember when you told me because you activate light language as well, right? So with your your activations of other people's light language, I was talking to you about, you know, how I played every now and then with it, and someone was assisting me or to be assisted through activation of my light language. And I remember you saying, but please don't just start talking in light language. You know, like it's okay, like you can be yourself. So I appreciate you as well for that, you know. Thank you. Good.
Yeah, people go through also intense emotional breakthroughs. Like now I have an example very close to me because I had a teacher. He was helping me to learn more about energy clearings, entities, technologies, angels. So, he was very important in my life. And then he reached out because he wanted to activate his light language through me. And he felt called. And I'm like, wow, now my teacher becomes a student. This is so awesome. In the first class, he already spoke light language, but this was so big for him because, when he started speaking light language, I could hear the translation as he's talking in my native language, as he's talking in Spanish. It was crystal clear. And he was saying, oh my God, I have been eons without speaking light language. I'm this elder from the galaxy. I have this wisdom. I have la, 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 la. I come from la, 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 la. Wow. And I was like, fuck. So then when he finished talking light language, he was like shocked, like, what is that? I am also that? This is also me? That's my soul speaking? Why I never allow myself to speak like this? Why I've been hiding myself from this wisdom, this expansion, So it's not from everyone, and you need to be ready. You need to be ready to see these parts of your soul that have been hiding for so long. And why do we hide this part of the soul? First, because we are in this planet on Earth, and if you go walking saying, I'm a queen from Lyra, no one is going to believe you. They're going to lock you down in a hospital. Or if you are going walking, I'm an elder from the galaxy 3.67, it's not good for you to know, to remember all of this here on Earth. So that's why we shut down this part of our soul, of our memory. But when we are ready, when our ego is kind of stable, when we are grounded and we allow ourselves to expand our awareness and remember, this person now is remembering all the wisdom he has because he's an elder of the galaxy, you know, and he's remembering his power, he's remembering his gifts, he's like now, wow, his self-esteem, like he's remembering, you know, who he is, and he's not gonna allow that anyone puts him down, you know. Now he remembers who he is. So it's an intense process, and many people go through many emotional breakdowns also during the process, because it's a, yeah, it's as we started this video talking about how sometimes we are not coherent or honest with ourselves. So imagine when you realize you have been hiding from your own soul. It's like, wow, why I did this to myself? Why? But actually I feel it's survival, to survive on earth, to have the human experience we need to forget for some time. But now I feel it's time to remember.
Oh man, thank you for that, you know. Thank you. What a message, you know. Time to remember, because you know the parts of ourselves, it's so interesting, like how you said, through the stability of the ego we are able to expand. And even with him being an elder of the galaxy, like I can only imagine, I mean, with the galaxy being eons, we don't know how old, like an elder of the galaxy, that's amazing. You know, you're
I'm getting goosebumps. Oh.
right, right. So, you know, seeing people go through so many emotions, amazing themselves and having breakdowns, like you said, I can imagine somebody even shedding tears as they're allowed to hear their own light language. You've witnessed this.
Yeah, he was crying, literally. Yeah, of course. And we were all crying too. We were like, oh my God, thank you. Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, to see, you know, to allow also ourselves to see the greatness of someone. Wow.
Mhm.
So beautiful.
Wow, Sukhavati. So even though the roles were reversed, even though, you know, the teacher became your student, you were thanking him. You were thanking him, saying thank you, you know?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
We
Wow.
are, I think, right now on earth, we are all like amazing beings, you know, right now. If we remember, if we could remember, yeah.
Hmm. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So I like how you broke down as well the reasons why we might not remember and why we might feel like it might not be the best thing to remember when we're living in a world or in a society that has a certain point of view about people with that level of perception, you know? And it's interesting to see that, like you said, more and more people are embracing that part of themselves, you know? It's amazing. Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's wow. And thank you also to technology, because now with technology we can see we are a community, and that we are not just the crazy lady in the neighborhood talking like this, you know. We are many, so this allow us also to feel more comfortable and not to fear our expansion. Yeah.
Right. So can you imagine, you know, in the future, since you were already able to understand his light language, you were able to listen to it and have it be translated in your own language, your earth language, and you could hear in Spanish what he said in light language. That's amazing. Can you imagine communities of people speaking to each other like this and being able to understand each other?
Yes. And I don't know if you remember this part of the Bible when I think it's the Babel Tower, where God punished them by talking different languages because they were trying to reach God and go beyond God. You know, their ego was growing so much that God said, okay, so now you're going to speak different languages. But then with, I think, Pentecostes, they started, a flame appeared in their heads, and they started understanding each other, even though they were from different backgrounds and languages. So this is very like metaphorical, but it feels to me like, of course, we can understand each other no matter what language. If we respect and connect, we respect source. Yeah, maybe now we are in an Earth is going through an acceleration of her evolution, and we are going through 5D, or trying to go to 5D. And I think now the spiritual energy is so high on Earth that, of course, we are starting again to speak all the same language, which is the language of love, because like language, you are just your soul, you are just love, So I think it's language that we can understand each other. For me also, when someone speaks to me in light language or in a session, I open fully, I forget who is Sukhavati. I'm open. It's like, oh, okay, what is saying this person, And if they are speaking in light language, for me, it's even easier to open fully because the vibration goes high, 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 very quick, So I'm like, and then also because the person really wants to tell me something. So there's both we are opening in love. So of course you're going to understand.
And I find it so symbolic what you just said. I never even heard that, but what you said about the light, there was fire. You said there was fire on their heads, and they
like
could,
a flame,
like a flame, so they could understand. The one with the flame could understand. Okay, so I mean, that sounds like light, light language. The ones with the light hear the language.
Wow.
I mean, that was the image that you gave me, the picture that you were painting just now. That's what I saw in my mind. The ones that held the flame, the initiates of the flame, are the ones that allowed that, that burning and that yearning. It's amazing. It seems like symbolic or even esoteric the way that you described it, because these stories from these scriptures and these passages in these books, sometimes we take another look and we're like, oh wow, that makes total sense.
Yes. And actually, I think in Christian churches, even today, they meet every Friday or Saturday to speak in tongues.
Okay.
So this is something that people still practice.
Yeah, I used to be a part of a church. They would speak in tongues every now and then. Yeah, and I always found it entertaining because I didn't understand. I didn't know what was going on, but they were overcome with something. It was like what they would call it, Sukhavati. They called it in the churches that I used to go to, catching the Holy Spirit. That's what they called it. This is what they called it. They said she caught the Holy Ghost, or she caught the Holy Spirit, and she would just like she would just start speaking in tongues, and the whole crowd, the whole church would just be up dancing. Everybody's moving, energy is high, and the kids like me were just like, okay, we were just kind of like, we didn't know what was going on, but you just embraced it, you just got caught up in it all. But now it makes sense. It feels like, wow, they were actually speaking something. Even if you didn't know what they were speaking, they were speaking, Yeah.
Wow, so beautiful. You said catching the spirit. And yeah, I think the flame was the Holy Spirit. That's in the Bible how they refer to it, the Holy Spirit. Okay. So yeah, it makes sense.
So that the two go hand in, so that makes, so they come into, so the Holy Spirit, so they were almost channeling.
Yes. Channeling themselves. Actually, it's because they were not channeling other beings, they were channeling their own soul. That's what that's why it's so for me important, light language, because it's not about channeling Andromedans or Lyrans or Lemurians. It's about channeling your own soul and really expressing your own frequency to the universe, to vibrate in your authentic energy.
Oh, blessings. Oh my gosh. Wow, thank you for this. This really feels timely. Everything that you put up, everything that you transmit, everything that you express, it always feels like it's right on time, right when. Well, thank you. Thank you. Like you said before, when the student is ready, the teacher arrives, and you've just been dropping gems on us today. You've been teaching us all,
Oh, thank you so much. It's so beautiful because otherwise we don't, express these things. We need people also like you that are experts in questioning life, questioning existence. So thank you so much, Jerome.
Of course, you know, I feel like we're very similar in that we both have that curiosity, you know, that curiosity that allows us to want to expand more. So I'm excited to see where you go from here and where you grow from here. You know, I feel like there's no limit. It's endless. Yeah.
Yes. Yes, let's see. Now I'm expanding here also in the 3D wall. I'm about to hire an assistant.
Mm.
So this is new for me. Wow, it's exciting, but also I feel fear. I feel like, oh my God, now I have to have this responsibility. Someone working for me. Yeah, so expansion taking the 3D realm, not only here, but also in the 3D.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Well, I mean, congratulations. This is sounds like it's been in the making. Like you've been summoning someone as well. Like you've been seeking, but they've also been seeking if they applied for the position. You know?
Wow.
Yeah. So the two of you are coming together, but you're also stepping out of your comfort zone, is what it sounds like.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel for me it's easier. I'm a double Virgo to do everything by myself, and I'm quite a perfectionist. Like I like the things in my way. So now it's like, okay, let's open to expansion and to be able to trust in someone. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Beautiful. So, for these coming days, and this time in particular, what would you say you would advise someone when it comes to opening themselves up or, in a new way? What would you let someone know in this present moment what's coming?
Yes. So I will recommend, when we feel groundless and we feel unsafe when we don't have the connection with source. So sometimes it's difficult. It's like, okay, how I'm going to connect with source? Where is source? How? So for me to see someone who is fully connected connects me.
Mm-hmm.
So I would recommend, if you don't know Amma, it spells AMMA. You can watch a documentaries in YouTube. It's called The Embrace. This documentary, wow, I'm sure when you're going to watch this documentary, you're going to feel with joy and love because she's hugging millions of people. And yeah, there's an interview. It's very beautiful. So, and also, just try to spend more time in nature because I feel nature, is our highest technology. This is the highest technology we have on earth.
Mm-hmm.
Just to be more in nature. Nature will teach you. Nature will show you the way. Yeah.
Yes, I agree. You told us, I remember you told us that you can be naked in nature. Nature doesn't judge, nature doesn't put all those things on you that you might feel from others. So I would definitely agree, that healing power of nature yeah, it's powerful. It's powerful. Thank you for sharing that documentary. You said The Embrace. The
Embrace.
Embrace with Amma the Hugging Saint. Beautiful.
Thank
Beautiful.
you.
Thank
So see you soon, Jerome. Thank you so much. Thank you.
you. Muchas gracias. Gracias, Sukhavati. Thank you so much. And next time,
Next time. Thank you.
take care.
Bye.